right here, you're here now broken as if something was wrong with you, but I want to tell you that was always the point.
I realized that after that came the long work days.
A lack of intimate relationships, to have someone to turn to in your most vulnerable,
Yeah.
that human part of you that's really, really suffering, but you feel like you're not allowed to tell people. Like sometimes there's these layers to peel back to find the source of why your behaviors are the way that they are.
I know this is going to happen, so I'm going to move forward.
I'm believing God to heal me. But if you don't heal me, I do have a Tylenol right here.
They think they have to have so much sin to open up that door.
Wow.
What's letting go?
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Elijah's Leadership Podcast. Super excited to have another guest with us, somebody who's been here before, Tim Vitikov. Is that how you say your last name in English?
Vichikov in English.
Vichikov.
Yeah.
He's here teaching on the Book of Romans at the GC school. And, bro, super excited to have you on today.
Yeah, good to be here, man. Good to be back. Always have a good time together.
Yes. I think it's going to be an interesting episode. We'll dive into basically we'll talk about rest, work, balance, and all that stuff that's basically fake, I think.
Everything's fake, I guess. Everything's made up. Everything's a concept.
Yeah. But Tim, thank you for being on the show. You were at one time the youth pastor here at this church, Fountain of Life Church.
Yeah.
You were serving on staff a decade ago.
Don't say it like that. Yeah.
You are married. You have, I don't want to say 1.5 children, but you have one child and one coming.
Yeah. A couple weeks out and he'll be here.
That's
2-3 weeks.
That's crazy. Yeah. Potentially, this episode will be live, and then within a week, the baby will be there.
Yep. And then the sleep deprivation begins.
Yeah. I got some earplugs if you...
I'll take it.
Actually came across these wax ones.
They form to your ear?
It's so nice.
Yeah, everyone tells me that. I haven't tried them, but people just rave about them.
Yeah. And you're having a boy or girl?
Boy. Probably name him Theophilus.
Theophilus.
Yeah,
it's very fitting.
Baby Theo.
Yeah.
Fitting? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's fitting to who you are, I think.
I guess, my personality.
I wouldn't expect you to name him like, I don't
Bob.
know.
Not even Robert, just Bob. Yeah.
Bob.
my parents would be upset.
Bobik.
Yeah, Bobik.
So, and you've been involved in ministry out in Salem. You have been Open Arms, right?
Open Arms, yeah, ministry.
And you've been serving there, I guess, at the church as well, same church you've kind of grew up in.
Yeah, we moved to a different building. We're doing like something else. We're working with, we're trying to work with people who used to go to church but don't anymore for various reasons.
Yeah.
If they've got hurt, if that's an existing thing, or, people that have just stepped away for whatever happened, and then they know they need community.
Yeah.
They realize they want to come back.
Yeah.
But, it's hard to come back sometimes once you've been out for a bit. And some of them have real issues. So our goal is to, I guess you can kind of say, rehabilitate them back into church.
These are mostly Slavics.
Mostly, yeah. That's our network. That's who God's been sending, you could say.
Interesting.
So, we do it on Saturdays because we want them to go to a church on Sundays. We're kind of more of a ministry, but a lot of them choose to stay for now. So it is kind of turning into a church. But our goal is to hey, come on in. We'll worship. We'll pray. We'll talk with you. We'll help you about And then if you want,
kind of almost like a counseling.
Yeah, it is. And we talk with them, and they go through and they share, and it's really refreshing in a way because none of them. It's kind of the environment where they've gotten such low points that they don't care to fake or put on a persona most of the time. They just come and just say how it is, and I'm like, oh, I can work with that. Like you be real, I'll be real.
Honest.
Yeah,
Slavics have a hard time doing that.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can be very blunt. It's like polar extremes.
Yeah. Blunt and vulnerable is two different things, I guess.
Yeah, it's
vulnerably
true.
Blunt is a different place in life.
So let me ask you this: is there a common denominator or a factor that underlines people who have been church hurt? Is there something like they'll say, pastor did this, or it was a financial scandal, or it was a marital problem? Is there anything specific, anything that's more common?
Not common. It's so various reasons. Sometimes it is, gossip. Sometimes it is addiction got them. Sometimes it is just fell out or whatever it is. They just kind of gave up or got upset. I mean, it's various reasons, and each one's an individual. You got to
Yeah.
work with it. So
Yeah.
I give, like, we try to work, obviously we give sermons. We do like kind of like a service thing, and most of our sermons have been tailored to that.
Yeah.
Like healing, who Christ is, coming back to these fundamentals that, like, one thing I've been saying recently is that, religion and the law, like I teach in Romans a bit about how God, a fascinating thing, a little bit of a side thing, but like the law was given to increase sin.
Mm-hmm.
So like God always intended the law to break us, not to save us.
Yeah.
So I'd say like, hey,
Expose us, basically.
yeah, expose us. But we, because of our willing, our desire to create our own righteousness in that sense, is that we take it upon ourselves to fulfill it rather than looking for a savior. Initially, it's our instinct, like our sinful
Interesting.
instinct. And so I tell people, like, right here, you're here now broken as if something was wrong with you, but I want to tell you that was always the point.
You were always broken.
Yeah. Well, it was always the point to get there.
Right.
Like every Christian at some point. So even we're going to talk about like burnout. Burnout
Yeah.
might be, I don't want to say an inevitability at all, but I'm saying like a lot of the time, it's not the end.
Yeah.
It's not the end. Sometimes
And
it's out
we're
of that.
humans.
And we are.
Yeah.
Right. We don't like, and I've been realizing this more recently, I guess. I actually will say I find a profound disdain for my humanity in a sense. Like I
Okay.
don't like my weakness. I don't like being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I've noticed throughout human history and biblical history, people are always trying to fight that, like become, fight their
Macho man.
Well, it's like cover up your,
Cover up your mistakes.
your vulnerabilities. Like we want to build money for security. We want to protect our health. We don't like the idea of death. Like, even just the curse of like, we put up walls to prevent hurt, things like that. So I'm just saying, like, deep down, we don't like our vulnerabilities. So when our vulnerabilities come to the surface of
Yeah.
like our humanness shows, and the law and our spiritual journey is a lot of times coming to terms with our humanity and our brokenness. So then Christ becomes a more of a profound reality of our lives, as opposed to just like I tag on Jesus to be this Christian person.
Right. So it comes a time of revelation to a person where they're like, okay,
it's
like
that journey. Yeah.
yeah, like I'm not that great.
No.
I'm actually in need.
Yeah. Humility, I guess, starts
Yeah.
kicking in.
Yeah, you begin to realize that you don't know it all.
Yeah.
You can't do it all.
And you know what? I could say that. We could say that because it's the humble thing to say, but it's different to embody that, to like actually come to terms with it and at peace with it.
Do you think a 20-year-old kid can do that or no?
I mean, he doesn't have to.
What do you mean?
Like if you're 20, it's pretty normal not to. You
So,
gotta
that's what I'm saying.
you gotta respect the journey.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
respect the journey. You can't be like, at 20 years old, I better achieve this. It's like, it's fine to be where you're at. And every moment of your life has that stage. And I think that's why mentorship is so important.
Yeah.
Because that 20-year-old kid is going down these paths, and it's good to have a mentor that can prevent them or give them advice if they listen. And also have to have a mentor when they crash and burn. God is obviously our Father and ultimately and helps us, but I've been seeing the richness and the need for community, for mentors, for people in our lives, intimate people. I think a big cause of burnout too is a lack of intimate relationships. To have someone to turn to in your most vulnerable,
Yeah.
that human part of you that's really, really suffering, but you feel like you're not allowed to tell people.
It's good.
And eventually it drags you down. So there's a part of you that's burning out, and there's a part of you that's running away from those red flags. And so like, I've been doing a lot of self-reflection and kind of reading the Bible and other things to realize like, there are parts of us, like we're not as unified within ourselves as we think we are.
Okay.
I mean, I think the in a way it's a little bit conceptual, kind of based on Romans also and other things of like, the Christ is the great unifier of our inner world. Like,
Yeah.
There's this idea that it's no longer I who live, but Christ in me. It's like this, embody Christ, abide in him. It's like this great unifier of him. And sometimes I think of it as like, there's parts of us that are resting in him, and there's parts of us resisting that rest. And sometimes you can have a part of you you have your prayer time, you have your
Yeah.
reflection time,
Yeah.
but it's not all of you that's there. And there's like this journey or this work to get 100% of you in there. And there's parts of you that are resisting that rest that sometimes cause that burnout. And there's parts of you that are resting in him. And sometimes those other parts are flattering themselves with your other parts that are resting in him to justify not going in there completely. You know what I'm saying? We're not as unified within
right
our.
to the deep end, bro.
Sorry, it was just my.
But no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, hopefully
And
that makes sense.
It does if you can
Compartmentalize.
yes,
Yeah.
stuff in your life and understand, hey, this is this, this is this, this is this, and then you see, hey, I've come to terms in this area and this area, but this other area you might have a hard time surrendering. You
Yeah.
might have a hard time letting go of. You might have a hard time healing or
Yeah.
processing, or maybe you're avoiding processing or whatever, and allowing Christ to be in
Right.
that area. And then that area that you haven't allowed Christ in might think you're doing okay just because maybe you're doing ministry
Yeah.
or because you're praying every day or because you're doing all this
Some
stuff.
religious activity. Yeah.
Exactly, because that's usually for a religious person, religious activity kind of justifies or, what's the word? Kind of like satisfies that guilt almost. Or something like
Yes,
that,
you're
you know?
compensating for your lack of true rest.
Yeah. Which is super good. So I do want to talk about this again. I'm gonna take a couple steps back. I know we
Yeah,
we
I
dove
kind of
right
dived in the deep end, didn't I? A little bit.
I think it's good because I want to take a couple steps back
Yeah.
because I do want to talk about a couple things specifically. We live in a culture,
Mm-hmm.
and you see two kind of sides. You see the side where people say, there's like a book that people read called "Eliminate the Life of Hurriness," something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know what book you're talking about.
yeah,
Eliminate Hurry or
Eliminate
yeah.
Hurriness or something like that.
around
Yeah.
those. I haven't read it though.
I read it a couple times, but it's been a couple years.
I've heard much about it. Yeah.
So the ruthless elimination of hurry or something like that.
Yes.
Something like that. Anyways, the point of that is like you say, hey, people just in culture, go, go, go. Then you have other pastors who are like, yo, every 20-year-old kid that wants to go on a sabbatical, man up. Don't you dare go on, like you need to put in some work for about 10 years and then you can think about sabbatical type of deal.
Yeah.
And so I guess my question is, I just want to explore that thought today and dive in as much as we can, because I think that does bring us to the question of burnout. It does bring us to a question of mental health.
Yeah.
It does bring us to a question of certain internal battles that people have. And the reason why or why not, we should endorse this. Because I guess the question is like this. Do humans really need that rest that they say? Or are we as just a culture and society more lenient towards kind of being lazy or comfortable and saying, let's just make our life extra comfortable
Mm-hmm.
instead of kind of going, having the grit to say, I'm going to strap up my boots and I'm going to press through.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, we can start out with rest itself. Biblical perspective,
Yeah.
we have God speaks about rest, right? Sabbath, you have the day to rest. The Sabbath is designed as the first day of the week, I believe. That's the way it's designed in the minds of the Jewish people.
Yeah.
And that they rest and then they run, right?
Right.
Work, whatever. Rest is God-given,
Yes.
part of human nature.
Well, I mean, I think one thing I've been really pulling towards these past few years is the first 3 chapters of Genesis.
Okay.
So, like, one thing I think is important to remember that the account tells us that we are created from rest. So, like, for rest in a sense. Like, we're created in a paradise, a place of rest, a place of tranquility, right?
Okay.
God does assign work to Adam to, like, name the animals,
Mhm.
tend the garden.
Before the fall.
Before the fall, right? And then after the fall, we see that the work itself becomes cursed. It gets harder for us,
Yeah.
right? It works against us rather than like for us from that place. I mean, I guess the point is that there's a type of work that seems to be aimed in our original design that is, like you said, first day of the week from rest. That it's on the bedrock of rest. It's not on the bedrock of work. So you don't get to work hard to earn rest. You have to work after the rest. So like the rest comes first by design.
But just to clarify, both are super important because we preach
Yeah,
that.
you can't just have rest, no work, and,
so
work,
we,
no rest,
we
right?
preach you have to do the hard things first, get everything done, and then go get some rest.
Yeah, I just think we live in a culture where you got to earn that rest.
Yeah. Instead of like, hey, if you're tired, go get some rest. I mean, you were over
Yeah, I mean,
last
what
night.
if I said you got to earn the work?
Earn the work?
Yeah.
So we have to rest enough to earn the work.
in a way. I mean, I'm just kind of being, you know,
I understand.
but like if you said like you gotta, first of all, it frames work as a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta earn it, and it also prioritizes rest. And then of course you have to ask questions: what is that rest? What is real rest? Right? You got to unpack all the. What do we mean by
Right.
rest?
So work is a gift from God.
Yes, which is an important thing to
Right.
understand. It's not a curse.
It can be a curse, just like rest
But like
can be
anything
a
in
curse.
life,
Yeah.
though,
Right.
anything
Food
can become
be
a
curse.
yeah, anything can
Yeah,
be
right, right.
workaholic, you know, whatever.
But at the end of the day, work is a gift. It's a privilege,
Yeah.
and it gives purpose to us.
Right.
Because we work on this or we work on that. So it's designed in our life for purpose.
Yeah,
We're meant to work, right?
yeah. I mean, I think we're meant to work, and then there's also that nuance of that the work has been tainted. So like,
Yeah.
it's not when you say that work is good. I mean, you don't want to imply that it's always pleasant.
Sure.
Right.
It sucks. Yeah.
It sucks. Yeah, it's hard.
Depends
right?
on the job.
Depends on the job. Depends. But for most of human history,
Yeah.
I mean, like up until recently, there's no such thing as an office job.
Right.
Like only the only cush thing was like maybe the aristocracy or somehow. Even they had their own issues and problems right amongst each other. So like, work is tough. Work is hard. It's
Yeah.
not. But it's also not inherently evil.
Right.
It's not at the bottom
I mean,
of its.
the Bible says things like the one who doesn't work.
Let him not eat.
Right. Like it's basically saying that it's the and I don't think a person can be sane without having some kind of purpose. And typically that
We're
purpose
created for it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It'll determine. The Bible says, you know, like I'm thinking that passage. I think it's in Philippians that He has predestined us for the great works or marvel. He's created us as a workmanship.
Oh,
for
Ephesians maybe.
Is it
Yeah,
Ephesians?
yeah. We are the work. Yeah, for created for good works. Right.
Right.
After like saved by grace, not that anyone
Yeah.
should brag, but then for these good works. Right. Service
Exactly.
one another. Right.
Because and that's kind of what I want to talk about, because you know it's important that so we live in an interesting culture
yeah.
in the time that we live in.
Unique to history.
Exactly. So it's challenging. So the question is, should people in their 20s be able to take more time off? And so we can go back just a little bit. I mean, from whatever perspective of history we can look back. But if what we can see is that, like, for example, if we look at the Roman Empire, you know, there's some historians estimate about 100 to 150 days that were dedicated to festivals a year.
Third of the year. Yeah.
That's a lot.
over a third.
And
yeah.
there was lots of events, gift giving, social reversals, you know, all this weird stuff that they would do. So even peasants would work seasonally. Many church holidays and feasts they took off, and there was a lot of long midday breaks.
Yep.
So they work hard. They probably suffered a bit, but they were entitled to their work, to their rest.
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying, "I'm taking my rest."
Mm-hmm.
I just got back from Guatemala, and they take their lunch
Seriously, yeah.
serious.
Yeah.
I'm like a tourist in a village, and I'm like, bro, I'm about to pay you 3 times what you would get to cut my haircut or to cut my hair for 20 minutes. I just wanted to trim up.
Yeah.
He says, I'll see you in 45 minutes. Like, I'm not going to stay here for 45 minutes. You're about to triple your pay. He's like, it's lunchtime. I'm going to eat my food. And I'm
Food
like,
comes first.
wow, like that's
Yeah.
it, and I hear it, all everywhere they take it serious. So,
Yeah.
So people did that in the Roman Empire. So some people, historians would estimate that there were, I'm looking at the medieval times.
Yeah.
They had the work and the pray and the work. These are the monasteries that they would be super laborious. They had this motto called pray and work. The monks believed that spiritual reflections were necessary for healthy work. This was kind of in the late 1700s, but I'm going back just a little bit. When was this? I think this was whatever. I'm looking at some of the notes that I took here, but I realized that after that came the long work days.
Yeah.
The revolution, the Industrial Revolution.
Yes, that changed a lot
People were working 12 to 16 hours a day,
in the factories. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
and they would just, and the kids would work.
Child labor.
Yeah, and then the 1800s, they would have like this burnout. Technically, they would just be work, and then they came up with an idea which kind of pushed itself to have these unions, 8-hour work days,
Yeah, push towards some sort of balance.
reformation,
Yeah.
almost, yeah, some balance, and in 8 hours, and now people work about 2,000 hours a year. I think is like the average in America.
Yeah, 2080 if you're calculating your annual salary.
So technically, people didn't work all the time throughout the history, and it was seasonal. Because I mean, thinking about it back in the day, like you have summer, you harvest, spring, you plant,
Yeah.
fall,
Seasonal
you kind
agricultural.
of, yeah. So there is
This
aspects,
rhythm.
right? There is
Yeah.
these aspects of like, hey, this is the season, this is what we're going through, and you took time off. However, we do live in a culture,
Yeah.
and we have to say that we live in a time where there's an overstimulation of information, right? We do live in a time with the social media. We all know this, but we live in a time where people take their phones back home, and that has their emails. It has their, somebody can call you anytime.
Never not working.
You're always, and it's not even always working. You're also always engaging in so much information. There is a cognitive
information
load.
like overload for our minds.
And we all know this because we know the mental health, epidemic that obviously we're living through, and people try to navigate through it, and people try to discipline themselves. Hey, I'm not going to be on my phone from this and this time. I'm not going to be on social media. I'm not going to whatever, blah, blah, blah. And people have all those things. And so I do think that not as much as taking a Sabbath, I'm coming to this conclusion right now, is important to an individual. I do not think that if you're going high stress, if you're anxious, if you're on a burnout, I do not think going on a sabbatical will be your answer. I do think that you need to change your lifestyle, and you need to change the way you live so you don't have to have this pressure of taking a sabbatical. I think that's the conclusion I'm coming to.
Yeah, I think that's the question I always ask when people say when people argue hey, 20-year-olds shouldn't take one or should or whatever. I always ask, what kind of person are you imagining?
Yeah.
Because that's determines the answer. Like if I was to give you a caricature of a person, like imagine this 20-year-old who's working, sun up to sundown, doesn't stop. Like the rhythm thing is true also, but the pressure of the church, he has there's not enough support, all these things.
Starting up a business.
Yeah, starting up a business, can't get enough money from the church. Like I can paint you a picture where eventually you'll yield and be like, yeah, that guy needs a sabbatical. Or I can paint you a different picture and be like, this guy, he preaches twice a week. He's got 4 days off in the middle of the week, not much he makes good money from, I can paint you a person. You're like, no, that guy doesn't need a sabbatical. He needs to do something.
He's got a good rhythm.
Yeah, he's got a good I want that rhythm. Yeah. So it depends on the person you're imagining. Usually I think that's a lot of the time the answer gives. So it's like, it depends.
Yeah.
It depends. It depends on what's their specific circumstance. And once again, that's why it's important to surround yourself with mentors or people that can see that and guide you locally.
Right.
I mean, if we zoom out, and I think it might be used but then see what the problem with that is, that's situation specific.
Yeah. But isn't that the case though?
It is, but then the thing is, it's a case by case. So I'm wondering what it is exactly that maybe we can zoom out and give some general principles, or
right?
Talk about certain things, and
that's good because the underlying denominator on those things really does also add, or things that add to it.
Yeah. So what's the common one?
Is the social aspect of entertainment,
yes.
right? The engagement of work at home.
Yeah.
Constantly being connected to people, having information about, somebody died there and somebody bombed here, and now we're this war in Iran, and then blah blah blah. It's like that's extra stress and pressure on everybody. That when you come home, you can't just unplug. I guess the ability not to unplug is probably the first denominator. The second thing is, I think in the U.S. it is cultural too. Of wake up 5 a.m. No, wake up at 4 a.m. No, get up at 3 a.m.
Yeah, one up on each other.
Do more.
And then the pressure to stay informed. I mean, we just like to tag that on, but that's how do you not know what's going on? That can become.
Do you think there's a cultural shift in what I just said about the kind of grind hard? Do you think there's a cultural shift in a millennial Gen Z where they're a little more chill, a little more nonchalant, a little bit more passive, maybe more numb.
Overstimulated. Yeah. I mean, eventually you start flatlining. Like people, it sounds like young people. I've read some stats.
Yeah.
It just depends on the source and what you're reading. But they all kind of seem to paint a similar picture as far as they don't contradict each other.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers can be argued, all these things, but it does seem like, Gen Z's the higher burnout, right? They're more, their behavior is kind of interesting. They check out, like some of them don't believe in working hard, like as an idea. They don't have much faith in institutions, right? There's like a lot of things going on. Just depends what you want to reference specifically. But they're also born, like on the subject of tech, right? Because I was born into it. No, I was raised with it, and they were born into it, which is different with all the tech and the access to information, and now more than ever, right?
It's true.
And it takes a toll because, I mean, one thing I've been thinking about, I don't know how relevant it was impactful to me and profound to me, I guess, is that just understanding that we're not built for this.
Yeah.
In the sense of like 1,000 years ago, and for thousands of years, we've had, people that lived tribally, locally. You didn't really know what's going on beyond. I mean, it was hard to get info on what's happening beyond your village or whatever, your city,
even
your nation.
working, even as a father, you would work at home.
You'd work at home and your kids with you. And like, there wasn't all this stress of like careers as much. Like, 800, 500 years ago, your daddy was a blacksmith. Guess what you're going to be?
A
blacksmith. You started at like 12 years old and you hammered away and you knew that was going to be your lot,
Right.
It wasn't too crazy. It's like stable, predictable, barring catastrophes or invasions, those things. People still had a hard time back then. Life expectancy wasn't good. Healthcare was all these things. So they had their own. I'm not trying to paint like a rosy picture at all, but just on this topic of like information access. So the human brain isn't built for that. Like,
right.
Just considering our bodies, if you want to get into like the neuroscience of like our amygdala and all these things, and like eventually you just feel like you're constantly panicking because there's always like world-ending event, and the world-ending event get the most clicks and the most views because our brain is built to look out for danger. So even just taking like a physiological view that our bodies are us also, right? It's a part of us that we're not we have certain triggers and things where the way we function, that being a modern person with a modern mind, you don't get to override your physiology.
Yeah.
You don't get to do that. Like, you don't have that kind of strength or power. So like if you put a person from, the Middle Ages into today, the kind of shock they'd have, like just the over, like we kind of, at least we're raised into it, to manage it on some level, and we're trying, but we see the toll it's taking. So even just understanding some of the and you know what, people do it on purpose. Like the social media and the internet thrives on the understanding the psychology of attention and the fear response and taking advantage of that. And we're suckers for it because we're built to be, we're built to look out for all those things.
That's so good. I'm going to go off that and give you another principle.
Sure.
I think that we just humans need to understand this from the physiological level.
Yeah.
Right? Is that we need to sleep. I know it sounds so profound, right? Boom.
From the side, bro, sleep.
Just for a second, just think about this.
Sleep is so good.
I mean, you were over last night. My kid Charlie didn't get his nap.
Yeah.
Bro, he was wrecked. There's no logical reasoning. I mean, there wasn't any to really start with a 2-year-old. A 2-year-old's logical reasoning is not that developed.
No, it's not there yet.
But imagine when they're tired.
He's just honest.
Yeah, he does not want no candy. He wants nothing. He fell asleep eating the candy.
Yeah, he did. He was still chewing on it, eyes closed. Yeah, snoring.
So why I say that is because as a child, it's so important for them to sleep because of all the stimulation they get. Because they're learning so much new stuff. They're seeing all that stuff. So they're designed to take naps, to sleep more because they're learning so much. So I say this super simple thing is because if you are able to, in your rhythm, whatever you set up, find a place where you can sleep well, your body will recover. So if you have a high stress life, if you have all this stuff, but hey, your body knows it's going to have deep, wonderful, healing sleep for 8 hours at least.
If you don't stay up on your phone.
Well, we're getting there.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting there because that's the thing is that people understand that when you when you sleep, your memory begins to shape itself. There's neuroplasticity that begins to
There's
develop.
a lot of things, really interesting things that happen. during sleep.
Learning increases that way. Your creativity increases. The sharpness of your mind. You're obviously physically feeling better. You're able to regulate your emotions easier. You know.
Are you in the 8-hour gang or the 7-hour gang?
I try to do about 8 hours, but I do 7 hours.
Oh,
6 hours is not enough for me. 7 hours, I'll be okay. 8 hours, I'll be like great.
yeah, 8 hours is good.
Yeah.
for me. 7 I can do it, but 8 is optimal for sure.
Well, that's the thing is if that's kind of where burnout happens is that you don't typically. Okay, there's
it's a
different
bunch of
rest-
little things, I guess.
right? But I want to underline this one thing again. It's again sleep. So statistically, 93% of Gen Z say they stay up past their bedtime because of social media.
Not shocking.
I mean, me too.
Yeah, I mean, like
Throw me in there.
water's wet, you know. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's a very 93 is pretty much
That's
you could
basically-
everyone almost.
Almost everyone.
Yeah,
So-
almost everyone.
And nearly half struggle to fall asleep regularly, often due to digital habits.
Yeah, the blue light, right? All
Yeah.
the staying up, the stimulation, your mind is racing, I'm sure.
So those, just to summarize it, social media platforms are among the biggest causes of loss of sleep for Gen Z. And why I underline that, because if you can be in a rhythm, whatever you have to do in your life, however you have to shape it up,
Yeah.
right? Whether you have to be less on your phone, whether you need to eat better, whether you need to find places where you can decompress, all these little things, they should lead to better sleep. And so if you can get better sleep and your body can recover, you can handle stress again. But if you're overthinking stuff and you can't sleep, because let's be real, like if you have a stressful situation, and
Yeah.
hopefully you don't have to, but if and the older you get, the more I realize this impacts people, that you will lose sleep. People would say to me, man, I was so stressed out yesterday because of whatever situation. I didn't even sleep last night. I was just thinking about this, and
Yeah.
this. But that's what deteriorates and destroys your body.
Yep.
Which then causes all this burnout. So if we could take a principle for everybody is, how are you sleeping? Are you going to bed on time? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you waking up rested?
Yeah.
Or you always, because that will be the indicator. That's the first indicator probably we can say from a physiological level that, hey, God's giving you rest and sleep. And if you're doing everything and you're not neglecting that, your body physically cannot recover no matter how much supplements you take,
Yeah.
or how much coffee you drink.
Right. You can't.
It's-
Yeah. Then you're just swinging your chemistry left and right, just pulling it up and down. Melatonin at night, caffeine in the morning.
That's the issue that I have with some of our, maybe not now, but even in the years of working with their school and staff members, it's like, don't stay up until midnight, then wake up at 6 and then try to run hard all day and do the same thing over and over and over and over
For
again.
long term, yeah.
Yeah, go to bed early.
Yeah.
Like, you want to live a high stress life, and typically we'll equate, that's a whole different topic, high stress and producing a lot and being impactful and having purpose, yada, yada. If you want to do that, take care of your body. I think LeBron James, I think he was saying he spends like $100K a month.
A month.
Or,
I don't know the stats. So you're gonna have to.
yeah, okay, I think it's $1 million a month.
Ooh, I love it.
But
Let's just say it is.
No, I think it is. I really do. So you guys can fact check me. But I'm saying 100,000 because I was like, that sounds a little more reasonable. But I think he was saying he spends up to $1 million a month to have all the best nutritionists, to have the best people working on his muscles.
Oh, just like
just to keep
full
his
health breakdown.
100%.
Yeah.
Be 100% all the time.
It's worth it for him.
Enough sleep.
Yeah, for sure.
because he's like, hey, this is what my body's producing. So
I mean, I'm worth $1 million a month too, but I'm not there.
we all are.
Yeah, we're all worth $1 million of checkups
Of care, right?
of care.
But that's like, but sleep, again, I want to underline that is that typically if you're like Elisha, who's depressed,
Oh,
overstimulated,
good old Elisha.
and
Yeah,
stressed out,
Jezebel's after.
God's
him.
like, sleep. And then when you get up, sleep some more.
Yeah, the guy was timing. The guy ran for. The guy just went on a marathon of marathons. If you read the story.
Yeah. And so get some good food, put your phone away, and get some good sleep. And,
Yeah.
And I think that would help your body because bodies heal themselves, right? Naturally.
Yeah.
They can if given the right environments and all that stuff. So
Yeah, no, for sure. I think also one interesting, how do I say it? So like, there are people that are in that boat. And I think we all have had this in life. Like, you know, you're getting bad sleep. You know, you have bad habits, but you don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes there's these layers to peel back to find the source of why your behaviors are the way that they are.
Boom.
And that's
So good.
that's a journey too. I guess it would be into the realm of self-reflection, because we are go, and even I think some of your stats talk about how it was at the monasteries that had time for this like reflection
Yeah.
time. I think the reflection is also kind of a little bit of a lost art. Sometimes I feel like people cringe away of the idea of like getting lost in your head or being afraid of your thoughts. But it's also a question of like, can you sit there alone with no phone, with no stimulant, and reflect on yourself?
So good.
And actually think, and you know, it's hard work, it's painful, because let's say you have these bad habits, like I'm lacking sleep, I'm anxious all the time, I feel the need to check my feed, I need to know what's going on in Iran or whatever, I need to know, like, you know, and then
it's my
eventually
job to monitor.
I keep my finger on the pulse of Middle East, of the world, you know, the world on my shoulders, and you just feel this need to, and then you could start asking questions, and it's important, you know, hopefully you have even people in your life, but even yourself, like, why do I feel the need to do that?
Yeah.
Why am I ruining my sleep for the sake of this? Like, why, you know, and I mean, you might not even land on the right answer.
That's so good, because the question really is, what is the difference between escapism, disassociation, like in a negative connotations, and rest? Because
what is rest? What do you mean by rest?
So rest is a time where you disengage from your work.
Okay.
It's a time where you refresh, where you find strength. It's a time where you recover. It's a time where you refocus on things. So we talked about sleep,
Yeah.
and then we talked about meditation, prayer, reflection. I think that's kind of all those things, right? So
Yeah.
if you get some principles,
Sure.
So sleep is good.
Yeah, the physical take care of the body,
Right,
the mind,
and
the
then
soul,
the spiritual stuff.
spiritual.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the reflection, soulful and spiritual reflection, prayer, meditation, time in silence. Like if we live in such a busy world, it has to be a discipline that you have to be spending time in silence. Like there is no way around it, because of the busy world. If you do not have time in silence, you will not be able to process the things you're going through.
Yeah, and even Jesus took the time to model that specifically for us in an account, right? He'd separate to the Mount of Olives, that idea, spend time, and obviously reflection, prayer, that kind of thing, but separate. I mean, it's just interesting that he made sure to model that and leave a record for
let
us.
us know that
You know,
we need that.
we didn't just hear him about doing ministry and miracles 24/7, which if he did, that would be the model we'd go off. But there's a reason it's in there, right?
Because he knows we're human.
Yeah.
And then coming from there, based off this idea of reflection, we're jumping into this thought of escapism. Because really, what happens is like you're burnt out, you're working so much, you're stressed out. What do you want to do? Mm-hmm. You want to escape that problem for a little bit. You know, you want to binge on YouTube for a bit. You want to binge on your feed for a bit. You want to play a video game for a bit. You want to whatever. Like there's things that you want to escape from.
Yeah.
And that's not really healthy. And so I guess the question really comes down to is the idea of escapism, if it's to numb you.
Yeah.
Or if it's to not address the issue but to run away from it. Or if it's detrimental or hurting you, like long term, like social media would be fine if you wouldn't be overstimulated.
If it's all just cat videos all the time,
right?
Be a
And
good time.
you would have a hard time going to bed and blah, 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 all this other stuff, and it's like addictive thing and your attention span and your ability to focus, blah, 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 all that. If it wasn't so detrimental, sure, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
But going out to nature, you're like, I don't want to go watch no mountains.
Right.
But that's kind of a problem because there's like something about that that's just slow paced, and it's healthy for us. And so I guess my question really is, how do you know if you are just in your days of rest actually resting, or are you just numbing yourself?
Right.
Because I have a lot of thoughts on this.
Yeah. I, mean,
I can tell you some of my red flags.
I,
I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And I can tell you some of my red flags. And
Go for it.
First one is that I'm not sleeping well.
Yeah.
Not going to bed on time. Second of all is I binge on everything we're talking about, right? So I can binge on some YouTube,
Yeah.
some videos, or at least escape.
Yeah,
And
something, whatever your
if you're driving in the car
drug is of escape.
and you're you have a 10-minute drive and you're on a red light and you always pick up your phone every time,
Yeah.
you can just stop for a second, but okay, like maybe it's not the best. I begin to eat unhealthy food. Like-
Yeah, comfort eating.
Right, because it's like me going on a flight. If I'm traveling like a long flight, like a full day, 18-hour travel time.
Yeah.
I know that at the end of that 18 hours, I might just like watch something like dumb.
Yeah.
You know, I might be on my phone for way too long because you have to kill time. And you're tired, and then I might go buy some candy at the airport.
There you go.
Something dumb like that.
Yeah.
You know, like why am I doing this?
I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong either. You don't want to paint it like these little actions are always.
No, but these are the flags that I understand.
Sure,
that I'm
flags
tired, that
right.
I'm stressed. I'm easily irritable.
Yeah.
Like
I know.
if I don't get enough,
I'm kidding.
if I don't get enough sleep, and my wife tries to change the schedule on me in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Oh, by the way, can you pick up the kids? And I'm dropping them off here, and then I got this thing. I'm like, well, I'm busy today.
Yeah. Should have told me yesterday.
Yeah. Should have told me last week that you had all these plans today. You know, like don't tell me the day of in the morning when
and
I
you're
didn't get
not
enough
in a good
sleep.
mood, and you have all these
but
days
then
tough as it
I need
is.
to catch myself. I need to be like, wait a second, I'm tired. Like I am stressed out. I need to understand what's happening.
Right.
And I need to change my schedule for the next couple of days to ease down a little bit. Because ultimately, in my job, I realized that I need to have a clear head, and I need to have a level head, and I need to have a mind of peace and rest to think clearly, to think ahead.
Yeah.
And so I shoot myself in the foot. Like this weekend, bro, I don't know why. I said I want to do this, but I did it again, and I'm doing it again next weekend. But I'm preaching 3 times this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh,
Next
yeah.
weekend's in Alaska, we're doing Saturday morning, Saturday night, 2 services Sunday morning, and 1 service Sunday night. I'm fine, but I'm like, why am I doing this again? You know?
Self-reflection. Yeah. You need to
I'm
reflect
like,
on
wait
that a bit.
I'm kind of stressed
yeah.
out now. And like, what's more important this week, to prepare a 5th message or to spend time with my staff to do this or that, you know, or think about
Yeah,
this or that.
I mean-
So I'm venting now.
No, I get it. No, I that's not. I mean, that's good. It's you got to know your red flags, right? So know thyself. There's things you can catch about things that from experience, from what other people tell you, and it's important to identify those. It's not. I mean, how do I say it? You're doing pretty good. Like the people I imagine, I guess in my mind, yeah. Like I think of more severe cases because, like, what do you say to those that are trapped in it? In escapism and anxiety, that don't bounce back well, that are leaders but they're like on their last thread. Because sometimes I think of people like that and people I work with, and I myself have done it. Like I've been in times where, like, you know, you just, and the apathy creeps in, right? You just stop caring.
Well, that's
and the
kind
burnout.
That's what burnout is.
Yeah,
technically. Like
that is a big symptom of it, right?
You just don't care no more.
You just don't care
about life.
Right? And like if you're on the edge of that, like what do you tell those people that are like, yeah, I hear you, my sleep is bad, but like you know, it's not, I've tried and it's not fixing itself. Like I try to do that and I do it maybe for a few nights, it feels really good, but eventually, inevitably, I go back, right? Or like, yeah, you know, I should get in shape or eat better. But so there's like underlying causes. So sometimes the answer isn't the answer.
So yeah, I
like,
understand what you're saying. It's
depends
like,
on the
stop
person.
Stop it.
Yeah,
Stop
yeah.
right now.
It depends. So people are like, you know, it's a man, I just need to sleep better, and they start sleeping better, and it's great.
Right.
And it just depends on how deep the root goes,
but
right?
The thing goes down to is like, do you put a discipline in your life or a habit to not touch your phone after 8 p.m.
Right.
And of course, it's going to be addicting, and you're going to feel bad for the next month or or a couple days to go to the detox.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing as why people overeat or why they're eating unhealthy.
Yeah.
So you're right. You could say, what are you running from? What in your life are you not happy about?
Yeah.
What do you hate?
Because you're escaping from something,
right?
Whether it's comfort eating, binging, escapism, and I think that's kind of comes to the spiritual reflection and kind of there's you know, everyone's got a weak point.
Yeah.
And usually it doesn't. You don't need, like, it's not like we have a limit where like, oh, once you hit 20 weak points, things go down. You only need one.
Yeah.
You only need one, like, really, like, you know,
The one that keeps coming up. Yeah.
coming up, and to address, and usually the thing that it's the last thing you want to address.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll come around and be like, okay, I'll try to improve, because there's people that like I used to be really into working out, and you can have people who are like
Really?
super. Nah, used to be.
kidding.
Used to be. You can have people that are like, the gym bros that are like, I get my 8 hours and I drink, and they're super healthy and like in shape. But you can also see that this is a problem in their life because their relationships are suffering, like other things. So like, there's things that you can do well and be productive and you can have something to brag about, right? But then on a spiritual level, there's something very wrong.
Oh, for
like
sure.
on a social level.
Discipline itself, exactly. You can have
So
big disciplined guys go to the gym, but they're getting nowhere in life.
Yeah, so you can have even like, I think true rest is still, there's something that undergirds all of that. There's something in there that people
on.
are sometimes are looking for. Obviously, this is getting it. We know the right answers. Well, Jesus, and that's true, obviously, but how do I get there? I think people stumble over the how. Like I can give you the what, I can give you even maybe some of the why, and I think what our generation is frustrated with, I'm frustrated with, is a lot of times we have the right answers, but no, when I dig at people, like how?
Come on, tell us.
I don't know. Well, it's something to explore, right? And the thing is, it is also very.
Our time's flying, just so you know.
Oh, it is a very personal journey.
Sorry,
but
Tim's teaching in like 3 minutes, so we'll have him teach a little later.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying, like going back to your thing, and I love it. Sometimes they answer, and you don't need to go any deeper than the causes, requiring. So sometimes it is just fix your sleep. Sometimes it is just discipline the phone, and that's great. And if that's your solution, and I think there's another category of people where like they try that, they do that, but it's not what they actually need to be doing to get all that fixed, because there's a root, and if you fix that, then all the other stuff starts getting better.
It's a counseling issue of personal healing, forgiveness.
So I don't want people to think
restoration.
like, if you just fix your sleep, your problems will be
sure,
solved. But if that is your problem, fix it.
Yeah.
So it depends. It depends what sphere you want to tackle.
Right.
So I love me and you. We go that you have that very like super practical and I love that, and it's like it's so true. And then I have a tendency to go off in this like deeper philosophical, reflective. That's just the way I am, personality way. That's a balance. Is
it's
great.
Crucially important because
both,
because you need to understand that we behave, and there's a reason why we choose certain behaviors.
Yes, and there's there's a reason we do things.
It could be just a stressful job that you have.
Yeah.
And that stress is causing you to kind of shut down other areas because you're like, I'm just stressed out. Like I can't.
Yeah. And you say my job is tough, my job is hard, but it could be like you're choosing not to do anything about it.
Yeah. And sometimes the moment you make a plan, all of a sudden you get all this fresh energy.
Yeah.
You're like, wait a second, I'm moving forward.
Yeah. And it depends on the framing. And sometimes, you just think you're a failure. And so you allow yourself to like, it just depends. Like, what is the cause of this behavior?
Yeah.
And that's reflection, that's deep, that's conversation, that's once again back to relationships, mentors, people in your life, not to mention self-reflection, prayer, the Holy Spirit. It is a journey. It's a kind of case by case, but there's these principles. But eventually I think in my life I've learned you need to try to, become the type of person that has the faith and the courage to go to the places you're most scared to go.
Mm-hmm. Inside.
Yeah. And then eventually that becomes an outside action too, right? Because, we're this interesting creature of
Do the hard work
for the right things. You can do hard work and brag about it and feel good and avoid.
No. I'm referencing What is a Woman?
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Oh,
that's what it is.
Do hard work.
Do hard work. Okay. Anyways, there's a lot more to be said. We've touched on some things. Definitely.
I love it. Thanks, Tim. I appreciate it. Where can we get some? Okay, let me. I kind of want to run it all back because ultimately, we need to find that place of rest and surrender.
Yeah.
At the feet of Jesus, and there's no other way to move forward until you can surrender and say, you know what, like I can't do this. Like I need the grace of God. To give me strength to overcome addictions, to overcome temptations, and because a lot of
surrender all those parts into His rest.
And allowing God to be in coming to a place where you're like, okay, I'm gonna take a deep breath. I'm just gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go into the hands of Jesus. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And that really happens in daily reflection, personal time, letting things go into the hands of Jesus, finding rest that will refresh you, whatever that might look like.
Right.
Dealing with emotional, soulful things.
There's a lot of layers.
It is because you
don't get to. The hard part is you don't get to not address them. You don't get like a neutral. Like I choose not to take on this part of my life. You have to, you know,
could
like
do that. You'll just
you could
be-
try with consequence.
Yeah, you'll just be in a tough spot.
Yeah,
for a
so we
long
got to
time.
figure it out, you know, and do it together.
And so I guess my last question would be is where can people find you online?
Not many places. I try to.
You don't have 17 websites?
No, I do more local work, not as much online. I mean, I do have like there's a website, timvitukovministries.com. I did like a couple things. Most of my focus right now is in the ministry, the Open Arms. I do things like this, but
You have
yeah,
a
I'm on
podcast?
there. Huh?
You have a podcast?
I have a it's a YouTube channel now.
Okay, nice.
And I put some things on there. I might add more to it hopefully soon.
We'll just link it to the notes, and that way people can.
Sure,
see
yeah,
it.
they want to check it out, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, I do stuff here and there. So, there's the YouTube channel for Open Arms Ministries, and my sermons are posted on there. We do stuff. So,
Wonderful. Thank you, Tim, for your time.
yeah,
And God bless everybody that's listening. May God give you grace and wisdom. Go talk to somebody, get some community, get some sleep.
yeah, get some sleep. Put the phone down. Mom was right about these phones.
Anyways, God bless you guys.
All right.
Until next time.
Thanks, Ilya. Take care.